Hi everyone, Comic Reviewer here, and this time reviewing on Pokemon the first movie. Now, I think we all know what Pokemon was back in the 90s. It was the biggest thing that came out in Western soil and became a cultural hit. And much like the other kids, I collected the cards, played the games, watched the anime, and when I heard there was a Pokemon movie coming out by one of my teachers, I was pretty excited. And I remember that my dad got me a VHS tape of it, and I remember I would watch it all the time. And when looking at Pokemon the first movie now, years later, as an adult, I would say the movie isn't great, but it's not too bad. Now, pretty much the premise of the film is about Ash, Misty, and Brock given an invitation to battle this Pokemon trainer on an island. And what's interesting is that we do see other trainers coming during the invites. So what's interesting is that we do see other trainers with other Pokemon, and we do see them from other regions and everything else. So what's actually interesting, they do hint at that Nisha and Corey are implied to have got their Pokemon from, say, Professor Oak, which actually makes perfect sense, as we never knew who the other three trainers were. So pretty much throughout the movie is mainly about Ash, Misty, and Brock heading to an island where it turns out that the person who's organised the event is meant to be Mewtwo. Now, with Mewtwo's character is someone you can kind of sympathise with. That, Giovanni used him as his own personal weapon to basically capture Pokemon, as well as to use in gym battles. And if you have watched the first season anime, there were episodes that sort of linked it to Pokemon the first movie. Like, for example, when Gary battled, say, Giovanni, you did see Mewtwo. And when when Mewtwo blew up Team Rocket headquarters and flew away, as a mirror counterpart to the episode it was based on. Now, I would say that in the Japanese version, Mewtwo was meant to be more like he never knew what his place was, and he wanted to try and earn it. Well, the English dub tried to make Mewtwo a emotionless tyrant that wanted to conquer and destroy the world. And the producers do admit they made a wrong decision. And I feel like if the producers went back to it now, I think they probably would try to make Mewtwo believing it's his destiny to try and free humans from Pokemon and make a world for Pokemon to exist on their own. That would have made more sense. And I do feel their message in the English version, that fighting is wrong, is slightly touched upon. And I get it, they're meant to say that Pokemon aren't supposed to fight to the death. They're meant to basically battle for the enjoyment of it. And when you see Ash seeing the other Pokemon battle and everything else, it's like when you're a kid in the playground, or it's like when you're a kid in a war-torn nation seeing the carnage and fighting. It's understandable because of that. And when Pikachu battles another Pikachu, it's kind of like when you're an older sibling trying to calm down your younger sibling. It works because if you put yourself in that position, you can kind of sympathize with the characters. Now, I do admit Team Rocket's role in this movie is a little minor, but not bad. I feel they're just in there to kind of throw in plot points, kind of show what the certain things are, which I can understand. And what's actually interesting was that if you saw this movie in theaters years ago, you could get the kind of movie cards, one of which would have the Dragonite that kind of gave the mail to Ash, and other sort of movie cards when you went to see Pokemon the first movie. And what's actually interesting is that, yeah, years later, they did do a CGI remake. No, that pretty much is meant to be like the first episode, the first movie, but slightly altered. So, I definitely think the movie's not too bad, but it's not the greatest out there. I still think, yeah, the message is touched upon, and this does feel a bit like a extended Pokemon movie episode. And yeah, what's interesting, there was another, basically, trailer, the piloted one, that had a much different thing. And even even one of the Pokemon writers admitted in a Japanese panel that the character we did see with a young girl in Pikachu wasn't supposed to be Misty. So I do feel the first movie left a mark, but didn't leave it slightly. So I think it deserves a thumbs in the middle. Not the best, and not the greatest. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.